Welcome to our customary units of measurement flipped video. Please make sure that you have your homework and make sure that you have your reference sheet that has all the different units of measurement on it. You're going to need this for your homework. Let's start off with customary units of measurement. Customary units of measurement include feet, inches, feet, yards, and miles. A foot is equal to 12 inches. A yard is equal to 36 inches. It is also equal to 3 feet. And a mile is equal to 5,280 feet. Please make sure that you record this on your homework. I'm going to move on, but again, if you need to pause this video at any time, you can pause. Let's look at some benchmarks. A benchmark for an inch is your knuckle, and you go knuckle to knuckle on your thumb. So if you look at this picture, you can see it's knuckle to knuckle on a thumb. Again, not everybody's thumb is the same size, and not everybody is the same size, so this is just a benchmark measurement. A benchmark for a foot is your forearm, and if you look at this picture, you can see a foot, and it's this part of your arm. So that's a benchmark measurement for a foot. And for a yard, it's from your hand to your shoulder, and that's a yardstick. So you can see that that's the benchmark measurement for a yard. For a mile, that's something that you're going to have to get into your car and drive a far distance. So if you're thinking about miles, think about how far you have to drive. Let's move on to units of capacity. Make sure you fill this in on your homework. Customary units of capacity include cups, pints, quarts, and gallons. There are 2 cups in a pint. There are 2 pints in a quart. And there are 4 quarts in a gallon. And if you look over here at our example, I have a big giant G. G stands for gallon. And you can see the 4 quarts in the gallon, and you can see the 2 pints in each quart and 2 cups inside of each pint. Now, if you want to count them all, you can count and see 2, 4, 6, 8. There are 8 pints in a gallon. And if you count the cups, it's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 cups in a gallon. If you want to draw this on your homework, you can. It's a great tool to have to reference. Okay, let's move on. I'm going to talk about how to convert. If you're going to convert from a larger unit of measurement to a smaller unit of measurement, that's horse to fly. So, horse to fly means to multiply. If you're going from a larger unit of measurement to a smaller unit of measurement, you are going to multiply. For example, if you're going from feet to inches. Let's look closer. I have feet here. I know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. But here I have 5 feet. So if I take 5 feet, I multiply them by the 12 inches in 1 foot. That equals 60. So there are 60 inches in 5 feet. Let's go on to yards. If I look here, I have 3 yards. But I know that there are 3 feet in every 1 yard. So I'm going to take the 3 yards that I have, multiply by the 3 feet in every 1 yard, and that equals 9. So there are 9 feet in 3 yards. Again, I have yards again. So let's look. I have 2 yards, and I have feet again. So I want to know how many feet are in 2 yards. So I know that there are 3 feet for every 1 yard. So I take 2 times 3, and that's 6. So there are 6 feet in 2 yards. Let's move on to capacity. Capacity works the same way. Horse to fly, multiply. Bigger unit to smaller unit, multiply. So, how many cups are in a pint? Well, there are 2 cups for every pint. So, now I have 4 pints, but I know that there's 2 cups for every 1 pint. So I take 4 times the 2 for 1 pint, and that's 8. So there are 8 cups in 4 pints. Let's move on to quarts. I know that there are 2 pints in every quart, I have 3 of them though, so I have to multiply that by the 2 because there are 2 pints in 1 quart, but I have 3, so I have to multiply that, and that's 6. So there are 6 pints. There are 6 pints in 3 quarts. Now let's go on to gallons. I have 6 gallons, but if I look at my sheet, I know that there are 4 quarts in every gallon. So I'm going to take the 6 that I have, multiply it by the 4. 6 times 4 is 24. So there are 24 quarts in 6 gallons. Now I'm going from quarts to cups. Here's where it gets complicated. I know that there are 4 quarts that I'm working with, okay? But I can't go from quarts to cups. So first I have to go from quarts to pints. Then I can convert from there. So there are 4 quarts, and I know that there are 2 pints in every quart. So I'm going to do 4 times 2 is 8. Then from there, I know that there are 8, that I have 8 pints. So I'm going to write pints right here. Then I'm going to take the 8 pints that I have, and I know that there are 2 cups for every pint. So I'm going to do 8 times 2, which is 16 cups. So there are 16 cups in 4 quarts, but I had to go from quarts to pints, and then pints to cups. Now it's time to do the opposite type of conversion. We're going to use division because division is the opposite of multiplication. If you're going from a smaller unit of measurement to a larger unit of measurement, you are going to divide. So that would be fly to horse, divide, of course. So we're going to go with inches to feet first. So I have 48 inches. I know that there are 12 inches in every foot. So I'm going to take 48 divided by how many inches are in a foot, and that's going to give me 4. So there are 4 feet in 48. 48 inches makes 4 feet. Let's go on to feet to yards. So I have 12 feet. I know that there are 3 feet for every yard. So how many yards can I make? Well, I take 12 and I divide that by 3. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 12 feet will make 4 yards. Let's go on to 29. Now 29, it gets a little complicated. How many times can I do 3? Because there are 3 feet per 1 yard. How many times can 3 go into 29? Well, that's 9 times, but you're going to have some feet left over. So it's 9 yards with 2 feet left over. So 9 yards, you can make 9 complete yards and have 2 feet left over. Here's a really complicated one. I'm going to do 216 inches. And I'm going to convert that to yards. But first, I have to convert it to feet because I can't go from inches to yards. So I know that I can go from inches to feet. So 12 goes into 21 one time. And that leaves 96. And 12 goes into 96 8 times. So that gives me 18 feet. And now I have to take 18 feet and divide it by 3 because there are 3 feet for every yard. So 18 divided by 3 gives me 6. So there are 6 yards. With 216 inches, I can make 6 yards. That was a really tough one. Now let's go on to capacity. Again, if you have a smaller unit to a larger unit, fly to horse, divide, of course. If you're going to go from a smaller unit of measurement to a larger unit of measurement, you're going to divide. For example, if you're going from feet to yards. So let's start with cups. I have 8 cups. Now, how many pints is that? Well, I know that 2 cups makes a pint. So I'm going to do 8 divided by 2, and that's 4. So 8 cups makes 4 pints. Let's go on to 16 pints and how many quarts? Well, I know that there's 2 pints for every quart. So I'm going to take 16 and divide that by 2. So 16 divided by 2 is 8. So 16 pints will make 8 quarts. Now I'm going to go to quarts to gallons. I know that there are 4 quarts for every gallon. So I'm going to take the 16 quarts that I have and divide it by 4. 16 divided by 4 is 4. So 16 quarts will make 4 gallons. You're really going to want to know this whenever you start making things like Kool-Aid and you can't find some measuring cups. This is going to be very helpful. Okay, let's go on to cups to pints. So I have 7 cups, and I know that there are 2 cups for every pint. So I'm going to take 7 and divide it by 2. But wait, I can only make 3 full pints, and I have 1 cup left over. So that's 3 full pints and 1 cup is left over. Last one, I'm going to go from cups all the way to quarts. But here's the problem. I can't go from cups to quarts. So first I have to go from cups to pints. So I'm going to take 12. And I know that there are 2 cups for every pint. So 12 gets divided by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So that gives me 6 pints. Now I'm going to go from pints to quarts. I know that there are 2 pints for every quart, so I'm going to take 6 and divide it by 2. 6 divided by 2 gives me 3. So there are 3 quarts. For 12 cups will make 3 quarts. So please watch this video as many times as you need to. Please pause and rewatch anything that you need to